welcome to the Joy of Painting. My name is Alex, and my cousin Bob has asked me to step in today because he said that you guys are going to be doing something very special. In fact, that this would be your first time visiting us and the first time taking part in the race. Before we continue with the race, he asked me if I could go ahead and help you some utensils to describe some of the rules and how the race works. Of course, we'll be talking about scripture and discussing Hebrews and all the great things that God has for us. But there's also going to be a lot of fun and games. And so let's go ahead and begin today by using some of our black to describe some of the ways that we will earn points over the course of this month. So we'll go ahead and we'll dab in with our black here. And we're just going to go ahead and make a nice, gentle circle. And we have here, oh yes, look at the head of that nice, bright young kid. I'm sure that they have quite a future ahead of them. And so we see here that this young gentleman is coming to church and he is joining us on a Wednesday night service. Now, there will be lots of things and fun to have on a Wednesday night. Of course, we'll have our games and we'll also be having our snacks and our dinner, and this is a great time for you to come and participate. Now, just for showing up, little Steve here, he's going to be getting a whopping 50 points for his team. Now, this may not seem like much at first. However, we're going to see as we go on how these points can grow and grow into something big. Now, you'll also have noticed, hopefully by this point, that there are some shirts that you guys have been given, and there are some teams that you will be competing on. In fact, we have a red team, a green team, and a blue team. Now, little Stevie here, he came to church and he has, in fact, his own team shirt on. And so we'll say that he is Team Blue. And so Stevie here, he has come, he is wearing his blue t-shirt on him today. He has come, whether this is on a Sunday morning for mission group, or whether it's a color clash on Sunday night, or yes, even on a Wednesday night, he has come in his team color. And so because of that, he will gain an additional 50 points. Now, all is fun right now when we have plenty of these points to come, but there are going to be games to be had. Of course, on Wednesday nights, our games will be split up by teams, and the preteens will have their own team. And then on Sunday nights, we will be having our own special color clash in which there will be plenty of large games. In fact, Bob told me that you'll be playing a game this Wednesday night that may involve something a little bit larger than life. On Sunday night, Stevie may be playing a game with a very large ball and pushing it to the other side of the field. And of course, he'll be out in a field at the property. And of course, what we need out here at the property is just some happy little trees. When Steve goes out to the property and he tries his hardest to push this ball, it may be a little difficult if the team is a little bit bigger. But don't worry, Steve has brought some help. In fact, Steve has a very good friend. And he has decided to bring him on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights, Sunday mornings. And Steve has brought his friend Tom. Now, here's something special that happens when Steve brought his friend Tom. Now, of course, Tom needs to represent a team as well, and because his friend brought him, he gets to be on the same team. Now, there are more than just Steve to push this ball and will help beat the other team. Not only does that help with their teams and their sports and getting the points, but also they get bonus points for having brought a first-time friend. Now, 20 doesn't seem like much, and I agree, it's not much. And so instead of just offering 20 bonus points for bringing a friend, let's instead make that 200. So I've done a quick mock-up of our shirt for this year, and you probably already have one like this. Now, if we look at the back of our shirt, we're going to see the scripture that we're using for this series. That is Hebrews 12, 1 through 3, and let's go ahead and read that together. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Now, this is a great scripture, and in fact, it's something that we ought to be thinking about many times. I'd encourage you to go ahead and memorize this, and of course, in this series of the race, what is the best way to encourage something but through points? And so if you are in fact able to memorize this scripture and repeat it to a leader, you will net yourself plenty of points just for doing that. In fact, if you're able to memorize the scripture and repeat it, you will net 100 points just for being able to quote it. And so we challenge you to do that. So I've went ahead and changed canvases because there's something else I'd like to talk to you about. And that is that not all of us are athletes. And so while our games may be fun, some teams might end up being a little bit better than others. But don't worry, there's another way for you to win. If for some reason you're not doing super great at the games, you can always earn points by team spirit. Remember Steve here? He was on blue team, and he has decided to go all out. Maybe he has sprayed his hair blue, or maybe he has got a nice pair of some blue sunglasses. Or maybe he's just being very loud and cheering for his blue team. Or maybe he's thought of something super creative that I haven't even thought of yet. In each of these situations, Steve would be getting points for his team. Also, just for participating. Sometimes when we are in the games, it can be hard to feel like we can go and do it, but don't worry, you can. We believe in you. And even if he has trouble in the games, let's say when he is in mission group or whether he goes to his small group after a Wednesday night, and he decides, you know what, I heard something in tonight's message that I think really applies well in my life. And so he is saying something and taking part in these conversations that we are having together as a church family. This is another way to both encourage each other and, of course, to earn those all-important points. Now, we don't just have church on Wednesday night like I mentioned. On Sunday morning at 9:30, we do have our mission groups. And so if you come on a mission group morning, you will earn not just bonus points, but 2 times the points. Make sure to show up at 9:30 in the fellowship hall on Sunday mornings, where we talk about the series that we're going through together as a church, where we're learning about habits and how that can impact our lives. So as you come to morning mission groups, you'll be earning twice the score of whatever you have. If you show up and you're just in your Sunday best, you'll get a bonus 100 points. If you show up in your shirt, that's 200 points for your team that morning. Now, we also have some special opportunities going throughout the month of September. We will have some service projects that are happening, whether it's a food drive or making boxes for Operation Christmas Child. There are plenty of things that we are going to get to take part in. And so let's say that you do a service opportunity. You don't earn just double points. You will in fact earn triple points. So if you bring a friend for the first time on a time that we're doing a service group project, that one friend will be worth 600 points for your team. Now, of course, these are all different ways that you can earn points, whether it is in competing, whether it is showing up, whether it is for a different event or just pushing a ball to another side of the field. There are going to be plenty of ways for you and your team to earn points together. And we don't want to forget that this is a great time not only to challenge each other, but also to encourage one another. And if you want a very reliable way to score for your team, but more importantly, score for the kingdom, we encourage you to go ahead and be Christ-like. In being Christ-like, we leaders will see this and we'll know that not only are you taking this race seriously for the benefit of your team, but you're taking it seriously for the benefit of yourself. I thank you so much for joining us today on The Joy of Painting, and have a good race.